3 days ago, I found the documents my son had hidden in his old bedroom. But what I discovered, there was nothing compared to what he said on that phone call I recorded. If you think finding out your own child wants to erase you from your life is painful, wait until you hear what he planned to do with my house the moment I was gone. My name is Robert. I'm 68 years old. I've lived in this house for 42 years. My wife Margaret and I bought it in 1983 when our son Daniel was just a baby. We painted every room ourselves. We planted the oak tree in the front yard. We built the deck where we had Sunday barbecues. Margaret passed away 4 years ago. Cancer took her in 6 months. After she died, I thought about selling. Too many memories in every corner. But then I realized those memories were all I had left of her. So I stayed. Daniel is my only child. He's 38 now, married to a woman named Veronica. They have 2 kids, Emma and Jake, 7 and 5. After Margaret died, Daniel started visiting more often. At first, I thought it was grief bringing us closer. He'd show up every Sunday with the kids. We'd order pizza, watch football. It felt good. Like family was still family. But about 6 months ago, things changed. It started with little comments. Dad, this house is getting too big for you. Dad, did you forget to take your blood pressure medication again? Dad, you really shouldn't be climbing ladders at your age. I'm 68, not 90. I can change a light bulb. I can mow my own lawn. But Daniel started treating me like I was losing my mind. Then Veronica got involved. She's always been polite to me, but distant, cold, even. After Margaret died, she didn't visit once during the funeral arrangements. Said she had a work conference. I didn't say anything. People grieve differently. But 6 months ago, she started showing up with Daniel. And she had opinions. Robert, have you thought about downsizing? She asked one Sunday, looking around my living room like it was a museum. A house like this requires so much upkeep. What if something happens and you're here alone? I've been fine for 4 years, I said. But you're not getting any younger, she said, smiling. That smile never reached her eyes. Daniel jumped in. Dad, we're just worried about you. What if you fall? What if you have a medical emergency? Who's going to help you? I have neighbors. I have friends. I have a phone. It's not the same, Veronica said. My aunt lives in a wonderful retirement community. Everyone there is so happy. They have activities, medical staff on site, meals prepared for you. You'd love it. I didn't love it. I loved my home. But they kept pushing. Every visit became a conversation about my age, my health, my capabilities. Daniel started pointing out things wrong with the house. Dad, that railing is loose. You could really hurt yourself. Dad, those stairs are steep. What if you trip? Dad, this carpet is a tripping hazard. I fixed the railing. The stairs were the same stairs I'd climbed for 42 years. The carpet was fine, but nothing I said mattered. In Daniel's eyes, I was already an old man who couldn't take care of himself. Then, one Tuesday in late October, Daniel showed up unannounced. It was 11 in the morning. I was reading the newspaper in my den. I heard his car pull up, heard his key in the lock. He still had a key from when he lived here as a teenager. Dad, he called. In the den, I said. He walked in with a folder, a thick manila folder. He sat down across from me. Dad, we need to talk. I put down my newspaper. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I've been doing some research about senior living options. He opened the folder. Inside were brochures, glossy photos of smiling elderly people playing bingo, eating in cafeterias, sitting in wheelchairs in manicured gardens. Meadowbrook Senior Living, he said, pushing a brochure toward me. It's only 20 minutes away. You'd have your own apartment. They have a nurse on staff, 24/7, 3 meals a day. Activities. Transportation to doctor's appointments. Dad, it's perfect for you. I stared at the brochure. The people in the photos looked happy, but they also looked like they were waiting to die. I don't want to live in a nursing home, I said. It's not a nursing home, Dad. It's assisted living. There's a difference. I don't need assistance. I'm fine here. Dad, Daniel leaned forward. His voice dropped. I'm worried about you. We all are. You're here alone. If something happens, we'd never forgive ourselves. Nothing's going to happen. You don't know that. He pulled out another paper, a price sheet. Look, I know this seems expensive, but we can make it work. Your Social Security would cover part of it. And if we sell this house, the equity would more than cover the rest. You could live there comfortably for years. That's when I understood. This wasn't about my safety. This was about my house. You want to sell my house? I said slowly. It's not about that, Dad. It's about what's best for you. But you would sell the house. Daniel hesitated. Eventually, yes, you don't need this much space. And the market is really good right now. We could get a great price. We? You, Dad. You could get a great price. But the way he said we told me everything I needed to know. I didn't argue. I took the brochures. I told him I'd think about it. He smiled, relieved. He hugged me goodbye, said he'd check in next week. The moment his car pulled out of the driveway, I sat down and really looked at the brochures. Meadowbrook Senior Living, starting at $4,000 a month. That was more than my Social Security, which meant he was right. I'd need to sell the house to afford it. And once the house was sold, once I was locked into a monthly payment that drained Margaret's and my life savings, what would I have left? Nothing. I'd be dependent on Daniel. Completely. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Daniel's face when he said we. The way Veronica had looked at my living room. The way they'd been chipping away at my confidence for 6 months. Making me feel old. Making me feel incapable. Making me feel like a burden. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in 40 years. I went through Daniel's old bedroom. After he moved out at 23, Margaret and I turned his room into a guest room. But we'd kept some of his things in the closet. Boxes of old trophies, yearbooks, baseball cards, things he said he'd come back for but never did. I opened the closet, moved aside the boxes, and that's when I found it. A leather portfolio, expensive looking, not dusty like the other boxes. This was recent. I opened it. Inside were documents. A real estate appraisal for my house. Market value, $850,000. There was a printout from a mortgage calculator. If they sold my house for that price, after paying off my small remaining mortgage and closing costs, the net proceeds would be around $780,000. There was a handwritten note in Veronica's handwriting. If we get him into Meadowbrook by December, we can list the house in January. Spring market should get us asking price or higher. With that equity, we can finally afford the lake house. The lake house. They wanted to buy a lake house. With my money. There were more documents. A power of attorney form. Blank, but with a sticky note attached. Get him to sign this. Say it's for emergencies. Another document. A quitclaim deed. Also blank. And then the worst one. A brochure for a different facility. Not Meadowbrook. This one was called Sunrise Memory Care. It was a dementia facility. The price was $6,000 a month. There was a sticky note on this one too, in Daniel's handwriting. If he won't sign voluntarily, Dr. Patterson said he can evaluate for competency. Might be able to get conservatorship. My hands were shaking. My son, my only child, was planning to have me declared incompetent. Put me in a memory care facility. Take control of my assets. Sell my home. Buy himself a lake house. I sat on the floor of that closet for an hour, maybe longer. I wanted to call him, scream at him, ask him how he could do this. But something stopped me, a voice in my head that sounded like Margaret. Robert, it said, don't react, plan. So I planned. I took photos of every document with my phone. I put everything back exactly where I'd found it. I closed the closet, and then I made a phone call. Weiss and Associates Law Firm. How may I direct your call? I need to speak with an attorney about estate planning, I said, and possibly elder abuse. They gave me an appointment for the next day, Wednesday afternoon. I drove to their office in downtown Portland, met with a lawyer named Jennifer Weiss. She was maybe 40, sharp eyes, no-nonsense handshake. Tell me what's happening, Mr. Foster, she said. I told her everything. showed her the photos. She took notes. When I finished, she sat back. Mr. Foster, your son is attempting to exploit you financially. In Oregon, this is considered elder abuse. What he's doing is not just morally wrong, it's illegal. What can I do? Several things. First, we need to protect your assets. I'm going to help you create an ironclad will. We're also going to establish a revocable living trust. You'll maintain full control, but this prevents anyone from contesting your wishes or claiming you were incompetent when you made these decisions. Second, we need to revoke any existing power of attorney you may have given Daniel. I never gave him one. Good. Let's make sure it stays that way. Third, I want you to get a full medical evaluation, physical and cognitive. We need documentation that you are of sound mind and body. This protects you if Daniel tries to pursue conservatorship. He really could do that? If he gets a doctor to say you're incompetent, yes. But if we have recent evaluations showing you're perfectly capable, that becomes much harder for him. Over the next 2 weeks, I did everything Jennifer advised. I got a full physical. My doctor, Dr. Chen, said I was in excellent health for 68. Blood pressure a little high, but controlled with medication. Cholesterol, good. No signs of cognitive decline. She wrote me a detailed letter for my file. Jennifer drafted a new will. I left everything to a trust that would donate my estate to the Portland Rescue Mission, a homeless shelter where Margaret used to volunteer. Daniel would get nothing. Not the house. Not the savings. Nothing. I also did something else. I called Daniel and told him I wanted to talk more about Meadowbrook. He sounded excited. Said he'd come over that Sunday with Veronica. They wanted to help me understand the benefits. Sunday came. Daniel and Veronica arrived at 2 p.m. Without the kids, I noticed. They came in smiling. Veronica had printed out more brochures. Daniel had a folder different from the one before. We sat in the living room, my living room, where Margaret and I had watched Daniel take his first steps, where we'd celebrated every Christmas, where we'd cried together when we got our diagnosis. Dad, Daniel said, we're so glad you're open to this. We really think Meadowbrook is the right choice. I've been thinking about it, I said. Tell me more about how it works, financially. Veronica jumped in. She was good at this, smooth. Well, Robert, the monthly fee is $4,000. Your Social Security is about $2,000, right? So there'd be a gap of $2,000 a month. That's a lot of money. It is, Daniel said. But that's why selling the house makes sense. The equity would cover that gap for years, decades probably. And what happens to the money from the house? I asked. After I move in? It would go into an account to pay for your care, Daniel said. We'd help you manage it, of course. Make sure the bills get paid. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. You'd help me manage it. Absolutely. We could set up a joint account, just to make things easier. That way, if you need anything, we can take care of it for you. A joint account, with my money, my home equity. What if I don't want to move? I asked. Daniel's smile faltered. Dad, we've talked about this. It's not safe for you here. I feel safe. But you could fall. You could have a stroke. You could... What if I said no? I interrupted. What if I said I'm staying in my house? Veronica and Daniel looked at each other. Some unspoken communication passed between them. Dad, Daniel said slowly, we're trying to do what's best for you. But if you're not going to be reasonable, we might have to look at other options. What other options? Legal options, Veronica said. Her voice was colder now. Daniel is your only family. If he feels you're not capable of making sound decisions about your own welfare, he has the right to petition for conservatorship. There it was, the threat, laid out plainly. You'd have me declared incompetent, I said. We'd do what we have to do to protect you, Daniel said. Even if you're too stubborn to see, you need protection. I stood up. I think you should leave. Dad, get out of my house. Daniel stood too. Fine, but don't say we didn't try to help you. When something happens, when you fall or get sick, and there's no one here, remember that we tried. They left. I stood at the window and watched their BMW pull away. My hands were shaking again. But this time, it wasn't fear. It was anger. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I kept replaying the conversation. Legal options. Conservatorship. They were going to try to take everything from me. My home, my freedom, my dignity. But I had a plan. Jennifer had given me one more piece of advice. Document everything, she'd said. If they contact you, if they threaten you, record it. Oregon is a one-party consent state. You can record conversations as long as you're part of them. So that's what I did. Monday morning, I called Daniel. Dad? Is everything okay? I've been thinking, I said. My phone was on speaker, recording the call. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should look at Meadowbrook. I could hear the relief in his voice. Dad, that's great. I'm so glad you're being reasonable about this. But I have some questions. About the house. If I sell it, where does that money go? Into an account for your care, like we discussed. But who controls the account? A pause. Well, Dad, you would. But I think it makes sense for me to be on it too. Just in case you need help managing things. Managing things. You know how complicated finances can be. I just want to make sure you don't get confused or make mistakes. What kind of mistakes? Dad, let's not get into this over the phone. Why don't Veronica and I come over tomorrow? We can sit down, go through everything properly. What if I want to keep some of the money? For myself? Another pause. Longer this time. Dad, the money from the house needs to go toward your care. That's the whole point. All of it? Yes, all of it. That's how we can afford Meadowbrook. But you said the equity is almost $800,000. Meadowbrook is $4,000 a month. That's $48,000 a year. I'd have money left over. Silence. Then, how do you know the equity is $800,000? I'd slipped. Revealed that I'd seen the appraisal. I had the house appraised myself. I lied. I'm not stupid, Daniel. No one said you were stupid, Dad. His voice had changed. Harder now. But if you're going behind our backs, getting appraisals, maybe you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking very clearly. Are you? Because to me, it sounds like you're being paranoid. Suspicious of your own family. That's not normal, Dad. There it was. Planting the seed that I was losing my mental faculties. I want to know what happens to my money, I said. Your money will take care of you. That's what happens to it. And if there's money left over when I die? A long pause. We'll deal with that when the time comes. I want to know now. Dad. Daniel's voice was tight. I'm trying to help you, but you're making this very difficult. If you can't trust your own son, maybe we do need to have a doctor evaluate whether you're capable of making these decisions on your own. And there it was. The threat again. This time on recording. I understand, I said. Thank you for clarifying. I hung up. My hands were steady this time. The next day, Tuesday, I had another meeting with Jennifer. I played her the recording. Perfect, she said. This, combined with the documents you found, gives us a clear picture of financial exploitation and coercion. Mr. Foster, I think it's time we take the offensive. What do you mean? Your son is planning to have you declared incompetent and take control of your assets. We're not going to wait for him to file that petition. We're going to file first. File what? A restraining order, based on elder abuse and financial exploitation. We'll also file a motion to have any future conservatorship petitions dismissed based on your medical evaluations and his clear financial motive. And we're going to send him a cease and desist letter, making it very clear that any further contact regarding your finances or living situation will result in legal action. Can we do that? We can, and we will. Mr. Foster, your son is banking on you being too scared or too confused to fight back. We're going to show him he's very wrong. Over the next week, Jennifer put everything in motion. The restraining order was filed on Thursday. Daniel was served on Friday. The cease and desist letter was delivered by courier on Saturday. Sunday morning, my phone rang. Daniel. I let it go to voicemail. He called 6 more times, left 3 messages, each one angrier than the last. Dad, what the hell is this? A restraining order? Are you insane? You're going to regret this. I'm your son. I'm trying to help you. Fine. You want to play it this way? We'll see what a judge says about your mental state. Monday morning, Jennifer called. Mr. Foster, I just got word. Your son's attorney has filed a petition for conservatorship. They're claiming you're suffering from paranoid delusions and are a danger to yourself. Can they do that? They can file it, but they won't win. We have medical documentation from 2 weeks ago showing you're completely competent. We have recordings of their coercion. We have photos of their financial planning documents. This is going to backfire on them spectacularly. The hearing was set for 3 weeks later. Those 3 weeks were the longest of my life. Daniel called constantly. I never answered. He showed up at the house twice. I didn't open the door. The second time, he stood on my porch and yelled, "You're making a huge mistake, Dad. I'm trying to save you from yourself." My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, came out of her house. "Robert, is everything okay?" "Everything's fine," I called. "Thank you." Daniel glared at her and left. The hearing was on a Tuesday in early December. I arrived with Jennifer. Daniel was there with his lawyer, a man in an expensive suit. Veronica sat behind them. The judge was a woman in her 50s, Judge Martinez. She looked tired. "This is a petition for conservatorship," she said, reading from the file. "Mr. Daniel Foster petitioning for conservatorship over his father, Mr. Robert Foster, on the grounds of mental incapacity. Mr. Foster, do you have legal representation?" "I do, Your Honor," Jennifer said. "Jennifer Weiss, representing Mr. Robert Foster." "Very well, Mr. Patterson, you may present your case." Daniel's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, my client is deeply concerned about his father's mental state. Mr. Robert Foster is 68 years old, living alone, and has recently exhibited signs of paranoid thinking. He has accused his son of trying to exploit him financially, which is completely untrue. He has filed a baseless restraining order. He refuses to accept help with basic life decisions. My client believes his father is no longer capable of managing his own affairs and needs protection." "Do you have medical evidence of incapacity?" the judge asked. "We have testimony from family members about his erratic behavior." "Medical evidence, counselor. We were planning to have him evaluated, Your Honor, but he refused. So no medical evidence." "Not at this time, but—" "Miss Weiss, your response?" Jennifer stood. "Your Honor, this petition is not about protecting Mr. Foster. It's about exploiting him. I'd like to present evidence to the court." She handed up the photos I'd taken of the documents, the real estate appraisal, the notes about the lake house, the power of attorney forms, the memory care facility brochure. These documents were found in Mr. Daniel Foster's possession. They show a clear plan to force Mr. Robert Foster into a care facility, sell his home, and use the proceeds for the petitioner's own benefit, specifically to purchase a vacation property. The judge's expression changed as she reviewed the documents. "Mr. Patterson?" Daniel's lawyer looked at the documents, looked at Daniel. "Your Honor, I wasn't aware of these documents." "Clearly." The judge's voice was cold. "Miss Weiss, do you have anything else?" "Yes, Your Honor. Medical evaluations from 2 weeks ago showing Mr. Foster is in excellent physical and cognitive health, and audio recordings of the petitioner threatening his father with conservatorship proceedings if he didn't agree to sell his home." Jennifer played the recording. Daniel's voice filled the courtroom. "If you're not going to be reasonable, we might have to look at other options. Legal options." When it finished, the judge looked at Daniel. "Mr. Foster, do you own a lake house?" "No, Your Honor." "But were you planning to purchase one?" "Your Honor, that's not relevant to." "Answer the question." We've looked at properties." "Yes, using your father's money." "It would have been for the whole family. He could visit." "Enough." The judge closed the file. "This petition is denied. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the district attorney's office for investigation of elder abuse. Mr. Daniel Foster, the restraining order will remain in place. You are not to contact your father in any way. If you do, you will be held in contempt. This hearing is adjourned." The gavel came down. Daniel stood up. "Your Honor, he's my father. I have a right." "You have no rights here, Mr. Foster. Sit down, or I'll have you removed." He sat. Veronica stared at me across the courtroom. Her face was white. They'd lost. Completely. Jennifer and I walked out together. In the hallway, I had to sit down. My legs were shaking. "Mr. Foster, are you all right?" "I'm fine," I said. I can't believe that just happened." "Believe it. Your son tried to rob you, and he failed." "What happens now?" "Now, the restraining order stays in place. He can't contact you. If the DA pursues charges, he could face criminal penalties. But honestly, I think he'll leave you alone. He knows he lost. And he knows that if he pushes further, it's going to get much worse for him." She was right. Daniel never contacted me again. Not a call, not a text, not a letter. 3 weeks after the hearing, Veronica filed for divorce. I heard about it through Mrs. Chen, who heard it from her daughter who went to school with Veronica's sister. Apparently, the legal fees and the humiliation of the court case had destroyed their marriage. They sold their house, not mine, split the proceeds. Daniel moved into an apartment. Veronica got primary custody of Emma and Jake. I never saw my grandchildren again. That's the part that hurts the most. Emma and Jake didn't do anything wrong, but I couldn't see them without seeing Daniel, and Daniel was out of my life. Maybe someday, when they're older, they'll reach out. Maybe they'll want to know their grandfather. Maybe Daniel will have told them I'm a paranoid old man who turned his back on family. I don't know. What I do know is that I made the right choice. I'm still in my house, the house Margaret and I built our life in. Every morning, I have coffee on the deck we built. Every evening, I read in the den where we used to watch the news together. I'm not in Meadowbrook. I'm not in a memory care facility. I'm not in a joint account with my son, watching my life savings disappear. I'm here, in my home, living my life on my terms. Last week, I had Jennifer update my will one more time. The house and everything in it still goes to the Portland Rescue Mission, but I added something, a letter, to be opened after I'm gone. In it, I've written down everything that happened, every document, every recording, every lie Daniel told. I want Emma and Jake to know the truth someday. I want them to understand that I didn't abandon them. Their father tried to take everything from me, and I had to protect myself. I don't know if they'll forgive me for not being in their lives. I don't know if they'll understand, but at least they'll know the truth. And maybe that's all any of us can hope for. The truth, and the dignity to stand up for ourselves when someone tries to take it away. I'm 68 years old. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. I have my home. I have my memories of Margaret. I have neighbors who check on me. I have a lawyer who fought for me. I have my self-respect. Daniel thought I was too old, too weak, too confused to fight back. He thought he could manipulate me into giving up everything Margaret and I worked for. He thought wrong. Some people might say I should forgive him, that family is family, that I should give him another chance. But forgiveness isn't owed to someone who tried to erase your life, who planned to lock you away and steal everything you built, who threatened you and called you crazy when you stood up for yourself. I don't owe him forgiveness. I don't owe him anything. What I owe is to myself and to Margaret, to honor the life we built, to protect what we created, to live with dignity. So I'm staying in my house, I'm living my life, and every single day, I'm grateful I found those documents. Grateful I took pictures. Grateful I called a lawyer. Grateful I fought back. Because this is my home, and no one, not even my own son, was going to take it from me. If you're watching this and you're going through something similar, if someone in your family is trying to convince you you're too old, too sick, too confused to manage your own life, listen to me. You're not. Get a second opinion. Get a lawyer. Document everything. Fight back. You deserve to live on your own terms. In your own home. With your dignity intact. Don't let anyone take that from you. Not even family. Especially not family. This is my story. This is what my son tried to do. And this is how I stopped him. I'm Robert Foster. I'm 68 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon, in the house I've called home for 42 years. And I'm not going anywhere.